Open source.
An overview of what open source really means.
What is open source?
Open source is a decentralized software development model that promotes open collaboration by making source code available for modification and redistribution. It includes giving permission to use the source code, design documents, or content of the product. The open source model promotes peer production, with products such as source code, blueprints, and documentation freely available to the public.
What is the history of open source?
Sharing technical information has been around for a long time, even before the internet and personal computers. For example, in the early years of automobile development, capital monopolists owned the rights to a two-cycle gasoline engine patent. In 1911, independent automaker Henry Ford won a challenge to the Selden patent. The result was the Motor Vehicle Manufacturers Association, which instituted a cross-licensing agreement among all U.S. automotive manufacturers. IBM's sharing of its source releases of its operating systems and other programs in the 1950s and 1960s, and the Share user group that formed to facilitate the exchange of software are early examples of open source practices. Beginning in the 1960s, ARPANET researchers used an Open Request for Comments (RFC) process to encourage feedback in early telecommunication network protocols. The sharing of source code on the Internet began with software distributed via UUCP, Usenet, IRC, and Gopher. BSD, for example, was first widely distributed by posts to comp.os.linux on the Usenet, which is also where its development was discussed. Linux followed in this model.
When was the term open source first used?
The term open source has been in use since the 1980s or 1996. It was later proposed by a group of people in the free software movement who were critical of the political agenda and moral philosophy implied in the term free software and sought to reframe the discourse to reflect a more commercially minded position. The ambiguity of the term free software was seen as discouraging business adoption. However, the ambiguity of the word free exists primarily in English, as it can refer to cost.
What are some examples of open source applications?
Open source generally refers to a computer program in which the source code is available to the general public for use or modification from its original design. Code is released under the terms of a software license. Depending on the license terms, others may then download, modify, and publish their version, fork, back to the community. Many large formal institutions have sprung up to support the development of the open source movement, including the Apache Software Foundation, which supports community projects such as the open source framework Apache Hadoop and the open source HTTP server Apache HTTP.
What is the economic model of open source?
Open source is an information or knowledge good with original work involving a significant amount of time, money, and effort. The cost of reproducing the work is low enough that additional users may be added at zero or near zero cost. Copyright creates a monopoly so that the price charged to consumers can be significantly higher than the marginal cost of production. This allows the author to recoup the cost of making the original work. Copyright thus creates access costs for consumers who value the work more than the marginal cost but less than the initial production cost. Being organized as effectively a consumers' cooperative, open source eliminates some of the access costs of consumers and creators of derivative works by reducing the restrictions of copyright.
What are some licensing alternatives to open source?
Alternative arrangements have also been shown to result in good creation outside of the proprietary license model. Examples include creation for its own sake, voluntary after-the-fact donations, patronage, freemium, giving away the product and charging something related, giving away work to gain market share, and communalizing the maintenance burden.
What is open collaboration?
Open collaboration is the principle underlying peer production, mass collaboration, and Wikinomics. It is collaboration based on the principles of egalitarianism, meritocracy, and self-organization. Open collaboration is the operating principle underlining a gamut of diverse ventures, including TEDx and Wikipedia. It is any system of innovation or production that relies on goal-oriented yet loosely coordinated participants who interact to create a product or service of economic value, which they make available to contributors and non-contributors alike.
Please give us a summary of the term open source.
In conclusion, open source is a movement that promotes open collaboration by making source code freely available for modification and distribution, reducing access costs for creators and consumers of derivative works. Alternative licensing models have also been shown to result in good creation. Open collaboration is the principle underlying peer production, mass collaboration, and Wikinomics, with the goal of creating a product or service of economic value that is available to contributors and non-contributors alike. The open source model has led to significant developments in software and other areas and has transformed innovation in the digital space. Please help us grow by liking the video, subscribing and sharing. Thanks.